Hi everybody, welcome back to Queer in the Kitchen. Queer is the French word for to bake or to cook, and today we're going to be baking, and I'm very excited about this recipe. But before we get started, please subscribe to my channel, share this video, like this video, all those other things that YouTubers always ask you to do. It's really kind of important, actually. I'd appreciate it. I'm up to 39 viewers now. Yay, us! But I'd like to get to 50 by the end of the year if that's possible. Let's see if it is or not, but we can't get there if you don't subscribe. Please subscribe, thank you. Okay, so let me just tell you the story. My great-grandmother on my mother's side, the one I always talk about with pie, that's on my father's side. So this is my great-grandmother on my mother's side. Her name was Mary Pohl, P-O-H-L. She came over with her family, her parents, and her family from Austria-Hungary in 1914. Also known as like Yugoslavia, became Yugoslavia, I think, in 1914. So funny story, she came over, her last name was actually Bohl, B-O-H-L, but the person that does at Ellis Island who was there, the guy from the United States who was there checking people in, I can't remember what they're called, he misunderstood my great-great-great-grandfather saying Pohl, P, instead of bowl, B. And so that's how they got the name Pohl, because my great-great-great-grandfather didn't want to argue with this person. So they were just like, okay, we're Pohls now. So they're Pohls. Anyway, her name was Mary, and she came over and she brought her family's recipe for strudel. So very excited about strudel. I just realized I still have my reading glasses on. Oh my goodness, let me take those off. So today we're gonna make strudel, like original Eastern European strudel. And when you see it in the bakery, it always looks a little intimidating. I always think it looks a little intimidating, but I'm gonna show you that it's really actually pretty easy. We're gonna make like some of their traditional, the traditional way my grandmother used to make it, and then I'm going to try a couple of new things this year. So we'll see. But I'm so excited to share this with you. I'm excited to try it because, well, not try it. I've made it before, but it's been a number of years, so I'm excited to make it again. So just give me a minute. I gotta flip the camera around and then we'll get started. Okay? As I'm sure many of us know what it's like to have grandparents or parents who are immigrants from another country and trying to read something that they've written, it doesn't always translate well to us native English speakers. So the original recipe in this says 2 yeast. Don't know what that means, 2 yeast. I don't remember what I used to use for it either, but we're gonna use just one package of the active dry yeast. I think 2 packages is gonna be a little much, so we'll see. But I'm gonna put 1 package of active dry yeast in a bowl. I'm adding 4 teaspoons of sugar and 1 cup of lukewarm milk. It was hot when I poured it in there because I knew it was going to be a minute before I got started in the video. So it's probably about lukewarm now. So we're going to we're going to push this aside, let it sit there for just a little bit. Meanwhile, I have 4.5 cups of flour here, and I'm going to add 1/2 cup of butter, and we're going to blend this together as for pie, is what it says. So if you don't know how to blend butter into flour for pie crust, you can look up right here. I never know where that's gonna post, but someplace up here it should say pie crust tutorial. Feel free to click on that. Since I already had that on a video, you don't need to watch me do it again. So let me just blend this up and then I'll be right back. I'm telling you, this is a really fast recipe. Gotta watch quickly. Okay, we've got the flour mixed with the butter. We're gonna put a little well in here. Oh, well. Put a little well in there. I don't know if it really needs to be a well or not. We're gonna add 2 eggs that I've got beaten up. Oh, look, you can see some of the flour in there. Okay, 2 eggs and a teaspoon of salt. That's gonna go in the little well or wherever it goes, because you know you're just gonna mix it up anyway. And then we're gonna add our yeast. And I'll tell you, I compromised. Instead of 2 packages of yeast, I just didn't think one package was gonna be enough, so I put a package and a half. You can see this is activated pretty quickly already. So I'm gonna pour all of this in there too then. Scrape out all that sugar. And then I'm gonna give this a mix until everything is combined and it starts to pull away from the side of the bowl, until it basically becomes dough. So let's make some dough! So here we are, we got it all rolled out. Well, we don't have it rolled out. We have it made, we're gonna divide it into 4, and then we're gonna roll this one out as thin as possible, it says. Okay, we have it rolled out. You want it to be, like I said, a little bit square, rectangle-y. We're gonna coat it with some butter. Now, my grandmother had 2 flavors. She only ever made this in 2 flavors. I say my grandmother because it was my great-grandmother's family's recipe, but my grandmother, who was actually her daughter-in-law, you don't need to follow all this family tree. It's not going to be, there's not a test. But my grandmother is the one who used to always make it. I remember my great-grandmother, but I don't remember her making it. I'm sure she did, but of course she was my great-grandmother, so she was pretty old when I was still kind of young. We're adding a lot of butter, lots and lots of butter, because you know it's butter and pastry. Yummo. So the first flavor that my grandmother made was nuts. So these are ground nuts. So it says grind nuts, add sugar. So how much sugar? I don't know. I think I added 2/3 of a cup to this. Something important to note though is that you have to actually grind the nuts. You can't just chop the nuts with this because grinding brings out the nut oil, and the nut oil is what helps the sugar to stick to it. So you can't just chop them or else the sugar would not stick to it. I'm gonna layer this. Then we're just gonna roll it up. So this is also not going to look like the traditional commercial strudel that you see in bakeries, fancy with the glaze on it and that sort of thing. We could do that, but I don't think it's necessary. This is one of those things that maybe as a kid I didn't appreciate so much. The fact that it was just nut or the other flavor, but oh my gosh. So yummy. Okay. Smell all yeasty. I love that smell. Dough yeasty. Okay. Whoops! Look at that shit. What happened there? That's the bottom. Oh, all right. Get a pan. I'm gonna turn this so that's on the bottom, and it's gonna be perfect. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good. Okay, we're gonna coat this with a little bit of egg white, and then I'm gonna make the second one, and we're gonna put the second one on here too, but it's gonna be a different flavor. The second flavor that was always made was poppy seed. You don't hear about poppy seed filling too much anymore, except for lemon poppy muffins. But let me tell you, this is my favorite. Now, I will tell you that the filling brand that my grandmothers used to use was Solo brand pie filling, and you can get poppy seed. I think that's really the only brand that has poppy seed filling anymore. You can get poppy seed filling. I was going to buy it. And it was $2.59 a can, and I was going to get 2 cans, which would have been $5.58, $5.08 something. But then the shipping was going to be $14.99, so I decided that's probably not going to happen. So I thought, well, it can happen if it needs to, but I wonder if I can make poppy seed pie filling. So I looked up a recipe, I found a recipe, and I made it. And I got to tell you, I had just a small taste of this, and it is really comparable, and it's really good. What the hell? We're gonna roll up again. Yummer! So fun to think about, like, memories. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So good. I know I say that about everything that I make, but really this may be even just more nostalgia for me, but oh my gosh, I just remember it's so amazing. We're gonna hold this. You probably can't see from behind there, huh? Pull this over. Like that. I'm not sure if it was my grandma or my grandpa who made the strudel, because my grandpa did a lot of the cooking. Okay. Oh, look, it looks just like theirs. Okay. Oh. I'm telling you, so amazing. And this is gonna be so beautifully brown. We're gonna put that on the bottom side. Actually, maybe I'll put the other side up. I kind of like the look of the fold on there. Okay, we're gonna brush these both with some egg white. And if you are using egg white and you're having a problem with it kind of sticking together and pulling out big clumps at one time, all you have to do is just whisk it a little bit, break up some of those protein strands in there. So I'm going to put this in, it says put it in a warm place for 1 hour, but I don't really have a warm place here because we're in Southern California now and it's like 4 degrees. So I know it's not really 4 degrees, but I'm gonna put it in a slightly warm oven. I'm gonna bring this a little bit forward because it's got yeast in it, so it's gonna grow, you know. Yeast to dough is like Viagra to, I'm gonna put this in the oven for an hour. I'll show you how much it's risen and then we're going to, bake. This is the strudel once it has risen. It's been raising for like an hour, and this looks about right. So I think we were probably pretty okay on the yeast. We probably could have used 2 packets, but this looks very much from what I remember. So I think we're good. We're gonna put this in a 350-degree oven, and we're gonna bake it for 30 to 45 minutes, just until it's golden brown. And so we'll be back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, we'll be back. So in trying a different thing rather than just rolling it up, I've rolled out the pie crust again, or the pie crust. I've rolled out the dough again, and I've made little slits, as you can see here. It's a little off-center this way, but that's okay. We're gonna put poppy seed down the center of this. Again, I don't know how this is gonna turn out, so we're just trying it. It might be a big, epic fail, but we'll see. We're gonna bring these 2 together, wrap them around, and then drop them down like that. We're gonna do the same thing for all of the rest of them. I suppose I probably should have put this on the baking sheet before I did this. Oops, okay. Like I said, we're learning. We're learning! It's what I always want you to know. You just have to learn. If you mess it up, you mess it up, whatever. No one's gonna turn it down. Okay, not bad. Kind of cute. So here we are. This is the first batch. Obviously the poppy seed is on the top and then the nut is on the bottom. And then over here is the second batch that I made. I have to say, I really like that nut one. The nut one is on the left, of course, and the poppy seed is on the right. Now, I have a couple things that I discovered from this. Is you'll notice the poppy seed on this one, and also on this one, kind of came out a little bit. And I remember the poppy seed used to do that, but having made it from scratch, might have a little bit of a heavier liquid content to it, which made it a little bit runnier to do, you know, to stay inside the crust, particularly with the holes in it, like this one has. This one, however, I must say, I am really impressed with it. Also, I forgot to mention, this one, when I did it, you probably saw me doing, you saw me when I had the dough and it was cut. I left that center piece, that center part of it where I put the poppy seed was really thin. When I did this one, I didn't cut the strips quite as far into the center, so it had much bigger base for me to be able to lift up with a couple of big spatulas and put on the baking sheet. So I would either fold up the dough after you've rolled it out, put it on the baking sheet to cut it and make the ties on it, or I would make sure it's wide like that on the bottom, so you can transfer it easier. So, but I'm really impressed with these. They're very beautiful. These, of course, look so traditional. So these, of course, have a big spot in my heart. I remember Grandma bringing these in and it was so great. But these are kind of fun. And you could even put like a little frosting on this if you wanted to. Maybe a little bit of milk and some powdered sugar, make it thick, and then just kind of pour it over like a little thin glaze. And then it would look actually very commercial. So, oh gosh, I'm so excited that I got to share this with you. I hope some of you make it. Let me know in the comments if you made it, if you like it. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll be right back for the closing. So that is authentic strudel. So move over, cream-colored ponies, doorbells and sleigh bells. We got your crisp strudel right here. It's not apple, but this is much better flavoring, I gotta tell ya. Yay! So I have to tell you, as a responsible YouTuber and as Queer in the Kitchen, if you eat the poppy seeds, you will test positive for a urine drug test. I did the research on that to find out if that was true or if it was just a myth, but it is true. So be careful through your holiday eating. If you've got something coming up, a new job or something, be careful because you will test positive on a urine drug screen. Hair drug screen you won't, but on urine you will. Thanksgiving is this Thursday, and I know it's going to be a really sad holiday for some people because you're not going to be with your family or not going to be able to live out some of your traditions that you've had for years and years and years. But just know your family is still there. Know that your traditions are still alive and things are going to get better. And if you happen to have lost somebody this year, keep them in your thoughts, keep them in your memory and things that used to happen, and that will in some way keep them present for you. So I just wanted to put that out because I know it's going to be a difficult year. I know it's going to be difficult for the holidays. Both of the big Christian holidays, it's gonna be difficult. I'm still putting the number at the end of the video, so if you need it, please take advantage of it. If you'd like this video, please subscribe, please like, please share it with a friend. I'll see you. Oh, and I decided I'm gonna start putting out videos on Tuesdays. So at some point on Tuesdays is when the new videos will be posted. So now I can say, see you next Tuesday. Au revoir. But funny thing, I was trying to get the camera adjusted up there and I dropped it twice into my bowl of flour. And I just cleaned the entire kitchen today, like everything. Took everything out, cleaned it all up, wiped down all the calendars and the walls, mopped the floor and everything. And then flour is just everywhere. All over the back thing. But the unfortunate thing, the really unfortunate thing about that is that the camera was off, so I can't even put it on the blooper reel. That would have been some funny shit. I mean, funny stuff. Butter. Gonna have to melt this a little bit more. Hold, please. So this one we're not putting butter down because it's got the sweetened condensed milk and it's already kind of a viscous, sticky substance. So we don't need it to stick to the dough as easily as we would have with the. There's not enough oil in the walnuts. Oh, yeah, I should have told you that was walnuts. Those were walnuts that I ground up. There's not as much oil. There's not as much oil in the walnuts to stick to the dough as well as there is sticky in this to stick to the dough. Okay, we're gonna move along from that discussion because that just went to hell. That's strudel. Move over your cream-colored pony. Step aside. Oh, damn it. Doorbells and sleigh bells.